Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is our Friday show. It's April 4th. I'm Michael Taylor, happy to be with you here. Hope you're going to have a great weekend. I have a few plans for my own weekend. Hope you got some great outdoor plans. We're going to have some great temperatures we're going to tell you about in a second here. But it should be a great weekend for anything outdoors. Also some good sports on television. We'll also talk about that in a second here. We got on our show today, we have Dr. John Hovannisian. He's going to be talking about night vision, some of the challenges we have maybe driving or seeing things at night, what we can do to treat that, how you can get your eye doctor and maybe help you out, maybe some dry issues, maybe some other things with cataracts. So we're going to talk about that with him. And then also on the program, we're going to have Sports Corner with Cole Young. He's going to be talking about the Final Four for March Madness, all sorts of other interesting things. We got Angels baseball, we got the Dodgers. So I know all that's going to be included, so look forward to that one as well. Hey, right now we want to keep you informed and make sure you always carry your Village ID with you. It's an important thing to have. In fact, you can't get through some gates without that Village ID. So be sure that you bring your Village ID with you to any GRF events or facility, including the fitness centers. You have to have them there. Table tennis rooms on the community center's 3rd floor, as well as entry through the village gates. If you don't have RFIDs affixed to your vehicle, you need to have your ID with you, especially gate 12 where it is required. So if you don't have that, make sure you get that. If you have some issues with that, call security. The phone number's at the bottom of the screen, and they'll help you get that if you've lost yours or you've just never gotten one. All right, let's take a quick check of our weather. We got some great temperatures for today and the rest of the weekend. 65. That's going to be the coolest we're going to be for a while. Our temperature is going to get up to close to 70 on Saturday, and then definitely into the 70s on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So warm, pretty much mostly sunny weather for us, and looking forward to a really nice, warm, spring-like weekend. We've got one for you this weekend. Let's take a look at a sunrise and sunset. Throwback to some frostier days over in Deer Valley in Utah. Thanks, Bree, for giving us this picture. Recent trip she was out there in Utah. Sunrise this morning was 6:33. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:14. If you have a picture of some trips you'd like to send us, or just here and around the village, maybe pets, places you've been to, nice sunrise, sunsets of our own, just go ahead and send them to us. We'd love to see that. Email us, Laguna Woods Village TV@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment. Okay, and we're going to take a quick break. We got some meetings to tell you about. Then when we come back, I'll be talking to Dr. John Hovannisian about night vision and driving. Stay with us.
And we absolutely love you, Matt King, as a friend and as the greatest comedy magician, at least alive today, maybe you ever lived.
Laguna Woods Village Performing Arts Center presents The Matt King Comedy Magic Show, Saturday, May 3rd at 7:30 p.m. at the Performing Arts Center.
Welcome to Harvard Eye Associates. We're focused on your eye care at all 3 of our Orange County locations.
Our new location in Laguna Hills, Orange, and San Clemente.
Each facility features the latest in advanced technology and diagnostic equipment.
And a trusted collection of doctors that care about your vision and your quality of life.
We deliver what matters to you and your family.
Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today.
From Harvard Eye Associates, we want to welcome back to our program Dr. John Hovannisian. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Michael.
We're here where spring has sprung, and we have nights are getting later and later as the days get longer. But we're still, night driving and things like that at night. And we want to talk about night vision and how kind of, it can be challenging as we get older. So what is exactly night? Why is it difficult for people? What is night vision all about that we want to talk about?
Well, there's 3 stages of life. There's young, there's middle age, and there's you look good.
you look great for your age.
That's the unspoken part. But as we age, and there's a gradual process of where one of the first things that we see that's a sign of aging is difficulty seeing after dark. And I say after dark because it doesn't have to be nighttime. You know, in the wintertime, after dark is 5 p.m. And now it's getting later in the springtime. People are going to see family and doing more active things. So actually people are often out later now, a little bit more than in the wintertime. And it is difficult because it's a lower contrast environment. There's just not as much, you know, the blacks are not as the blacks are darker and the whites are not as bright. And so we don't, you know, everything's a shade of gray that we're seeing.
Right.
And in addition, the pupil is dilating. And when the pupil dilates to take in more light, that's a good thing, but it's not as ideal for focusing. If you ever studied photography, you know that smaller aperture means better focus.
Less depth of field, right?
Yeah, that's right. So there's less depth of field with a big pupil. And anything that's mild, like the beginnings of cataract or dryness of the eyes or other issues, can really start to affect us. And so freeway driving seems to be one of the most common places people complain because not only is it dim, but there are things moving toward us quickly. We have to react quickly.
And very bright lights on the other side of the freeway sometimes too, right? Because it's dark, so my eyes are open, but then you hit those really bright lights, and headlights are just brighter now as a matter of fact. So there's that like my pupils are open, but now I'm seeing this really bright light, so that can really be a challenge, right?
The LEDs that they put in headlights now are more in the blue spectrum, and that blue light tends to scatter more, and of course they're brighter intensity as well. And when they're coming toward you, that causes forward light scatter when that light hits you know, dryness on the cornea or cloudiness in the lens of the eye that's early cataract, or anything in the medium of the eye that is not perfect in focusing contributes to a loss of contrast.
Okay, so we talk about the fact, you know, the pupil will dilate in the darkness and we open up. What are some of the challenges? What's the difference between my young eye that I used to have and my older eye that I have now?
Yeah, well, lots of differences, and you know, one that seems to work pretty well as we age throughout life is the retina, as long as we don't have a disease like macular degeneration or other problems, diabetic retinopathy. There's a shift in the back of the eye that goes from the cones that we use during brighter environments to see both color and detail to the rods, which are not so much in the detail-seeing part of the eye, but just outside the fovea. And those shift in their receptiveness to light. That seems to work well, but the light getting to the retina is part of the problem. And so you've really got, and sometimes those can be affected. The retina can be affected by diseases like vitamin A deficiency, diseases like retinitis pigmentosa. Certain psychiatric medications cause a loss of sensitivity in the back of the eye. Other medications can affect nighttime sensitivity. A lot of times that happens because of dryness on the surface of the eye. So we talk a lot about dry eye because it's super important, and night vision is one of the chief places it affects people.
Okay, so can drops help with that? Can we treat that in some way?
That's one of the first line defenses against dry eye is to use lubricant eye drops, and so, you know, treat your dry eye if you have it. That's one way to do it. You know, eye doctors can help you with other treatments that are available. And then cataracts. So the internal lens inside the eye is an important focusing element. And you know, from our teenage years and onward, we start to have little tiny imperfections in the lens that perceptibly start to reduce the contrast we see when we're trying to see at night. And if you've had cataract surgery and you have a lens implant in your eye, sometimes a loss of night vision can come from a cloudiness that occurs behind the lens implant. Very easy to treat with a laser if it occurs. That's called posterior capsulopacification. It happens to
let me write that down.
It happens to about 50% of people who have cataract surgery within 10 years afterwards. So it's common, but highly treatable, and one little treatment, it's fixed, it's covered by insurance, it's nothing to worry about.
Okay. We talked a little about driving. What are some of the other challenges folks have with night vision they come to you and say, hey, I'm having trouble at night with X, Y, and Z?
Well, you know, another one that people don't talk about a lot, but is a very real issue, is just navigating around the house at night in dim light. And, you know, one of the things that people fear as we get older is falling. And falling often happens after dark, you know, and if you take any medication for sleep, it affects your visual perception, it affects your balance,
Right.
You know, you're just not as awake, and so you're not navigating as well. So, you know, uneven surfaces between your bed and the bathroom are things you want to think about and be very conscious of. Having a night light helps a lot, and just be aware that that's another hazard of having difficulty with night vision.
Okay. We talked about drops. Are there ways, if I'm having trouble with my night vision, are there other ways that I can do something to improve it?
Well, so see your eye doctor is the
Okay.
first thing, you know, because often focus issues, not that you have to put on your glasses to get up, but if you need to, you need to for getting up at night, and certainly for driving after dark. A lot of folks who really do fine during the day just need glasses for their best nighttime driving. Whether you've had LASIK surgery or cataract or anything else, you're going to get a little better visual focus and performance and less scatter of light with a good pair of eyeglasses if you need them. So.
And what about restrictions? Is there sometimes where people get to the point where, hey, I just can't drive at night anymore, and that kind of thing? And
Yeah.
and is that something that gets reported to the DMV, or you just make a decision on your own? I really don't know.
Well, so, you know, so we don't report to the DMV when.
So if I go to you
when
as a doctor, you're not going to say, okay, I'm calling DMV, you can't drive at night.
we don't
anymore.
do that.
So
But
nobody should be afraid of that.
Nobody. That's a great point. Nobody should be afraid of seeing their eye doctor because they're going to get reported and have their driving privileges taken away. We're always on the side of the patient, and for privacy reasons, we don't do that. You know, if we hear from a patient that they're driving and doing something we think is hazardous, we let them know, and we document that in the chart. So that could work against you if you're ever in an accident and someone says, I want to see the records of your eye doctor, and it says in there that we have advised them. We have to do that because that's our obligation, but we don't reach out to tell authorities about vision problems. Unless we think there's an immediate threat to others, we don't do that.
Does everyone have a night vision challenge that gets kind of worse and worse, or some people just, it doesn't happen because of X, Y, and Z?
Well, some people, just like you have your hair and I don't.
You don't have to point that
some
out,
people
but-
have more. Just like some people get gray earlier and have their skin looks better when they're the eyes age differently for individuals, and so we'll see different types of different degrees of loss of clarity. So yeah, you're right. Some people just see better than others. Life's not fair. But where it's not fair, we can usually help. And so unless there's a untreatable condition, generally we can help folks who have trouble driving at night to see better.
Are there glasses, there are certain prescriptions that can actually help with night vision if I was wearing those?
So often we'll use lenses that have an anti-reflective coating because those do help a little bit with glare, and what it does is it reduces just glare off of the lenses themselves. And then beyond that, just the right prescription. Certain lens materials may be a little bit better in terms of not causing aberrations in light. Good quality lenses, but a proper prescription by a qualified doctor, that's the most important thing.
It sounds like people need to go in there and get their eyes checked for this as well, then,
You know,
right? That's a good idea.
One more good reason to take care of your eyes.
All right. Well, Dr. John Hovhannissian from Harvard Eye Associates, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck driving at night.
Same to you.
Thank you. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Theater Guild presents It's Murder in the Wings. The boss is found dead by his staff before the big party. Everyone's a suspect. Find out who done it at this live screwball murder mystery at Clubhouse 5, April 14th and 15th. Elegant hot buffet by Taste Catering. Tickets at theaterguildlw.com.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. They only know the way they hear, not how much better they could be hearing. We've taken patients that were hearing 24% of conversations and improved them to 92%. A life-changing difference. Put on these hearing aids and hear better, automatically. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Happy Friday and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young and there's a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. As usual, starting with March Madness, the men's and women's Final Four are set. I've said it for the past few weeks, but this March Madness is severely lacking madness. All 4 number 1 seeds have made it to the Final Four in the men's bracket. Here's how they got there. Duke freshman and national sensation Cooper Flagg finished with 16 points to help lift the Blue Devils to the program's 18th Final Four appearance with an 85-65 victory over Alabama Saturday night in the East Region Final. Duke by far has the most dominant offense in the NCAA, and now they move on to face the nation's best defense and the number 1 seed from the Midwest, Houston. Houston's historic defense held number 2 ranked Tennessee to just 50 total points as they breezed to a 69-50 win and punched their spot in the Final Four. The Cougars also broke the school's single-season record for wins and extended the nation's longest active winning streak to 17 straight games. Just how good is Houston's defense? Tennessee made only 6 of 28 shots in the first 20 minutes and missed their first 14 three-point shots. The top-ranked offense versus the top-ranked defense is going to be can't-miss TV. This game tips off at 5:49 p.m. tomorrow on CBS. In the West, the Elite Eight matchup between number 3 Texas Tech and number 1 Florida was somewhat of a thriller. Walter Clayton Jr. rescued top-seeded Florida with 2 late three-pointers, and the Gators rallied from 9 points down late to beat Texas Tech 84-79 in the West Region Final on Saturday. The Gators were in trouble late, down 75-66 with just about 3 minutes remaining. They wouldn't take the lead until Clayton Jr.'s three-pointer with just 59 seconds left to go. Florida now advances to the Final Four for their first time since 2014, this time to square off with the last number 1 seed, Auburn. Johnny Broome had 25 points and 14 rebounds, and number 1 Auburn took command with 17 unanswered points in the first half to beat number 2 Michigan State 70-64 on Sunday and complete the sweep of number 1 seeds advancing to the Final Four. The Auburn Tigers entered this tournament as the overall number 1 team and heavy favorites to win it all. They faced some challenges throughout the tournament until this point, but continued winning and earned their second ever Final Four appearance. The matchup between 2 SEC rivals, Florida and Auburn, will tip off tomorrow at 3:09 p.m. on CBS. Don't miss out on either of those 2 games as they should be incredible matchups, and by the end of the day tomorrow, we'll know which 2 teams will have made their way to the national championship stage. With that said, regardless of who makes it to the final round, the national championship game in San Antonio, Texas will be on Monday, April 7th at 5:50 p.m. on CBS. So, next time you see me, we'll be talking about which of these 4 schools has become a national champion. If I had to make a prediction, I would say Duke and Auburn will be facing off in the finals, and Duke will hoist the trophy. We'll see in just a few days. For the women's bracket, only 3 number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four and 1 number 2 ranked team. Crazy stuff, I know. Jokes aside, the lone 2 seed remaining is UConn, who upset top-ranked USC 78-64. Paige Buchers led the way for the Huskies in a dominating performance, dropping 31 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds. Sarah Strong added 22 points and a whopping 17 rebounds, and both Strong and Buchers played all 40 minutes of the contest. UConn now moves on to face number 1 UCLA in the Final Four. UCLA had an overall strong team performance, outlasting LSU 72-65. The Tigers were led by star player Flau'jae Johnson, who dropped 28 points. UCLA and UConn tip off today at 6 p.m. on ESPN. To round out the bracket, number 1 South Carolina and number 1 Texas will battle it out at 3 p.m. today on ESPN. To get to this point, South Carolina was tested. Chloe Kitts scored 8 of her 14 points in the fourth quarter, and defending national champion South Carolina came up with a critical defensive stop to outlast Duke en route to a 5th consecutive Final Four appearance with Sunday's 54-50 win. In South Carolina's way of a repeat national title stands Texas. Texas outlasted in-state rival TCU 58-47 on Monday night. Madison Booker, the SEC Player of the Year, led Texas with 18 points and 6 rebounds, and Rory Harmon had 13 points and 5 assists. Now, for the first time since 2003, the Texas Longhorns are going back to the women's Final Four. Like I said, Texas and South Carolina will tip off today at 3. College basketball is coming to a close quickly, so don't miss out on any of these final games. Next week, we will crown our national champions. Speaking of basketball championships, we're just about a week away from the start of the NBA playoffs. Here's a look at how the playoff picture currently sits as of yesterday. In the East, the Cavaliers, Celtics, Knicks, and Pacers all have sealed their spots in the postseason, while the Bulls have confirmed a play-in spot. In the West, however, it truly is the Wild West. The Oklahoma City Thunder are only team to have clinched a spot so far, with the rest of the conference entirely up for grabs. Teams like the Lakers, Nuggets, and Rockets are pretty much guaranteed a spot, but you never know what can happen in the next week. Including today, most teams have about 5 or 6 games remaining to earn those postseason spots. Playoff basketball is always one of my favorite times of the year, so don't miss out on the finale of the regular season, and next week we'll discuss who is in the playoffs. The same can be said for the NHL. So far, the only teams to have clinched a playoff spot are the Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars, Winnipeg Jets, and the Washington Capitals. Speaking of the Capitals, it's been a few weeks since I've updated on Alex Ovechkin. As a reminder, Ovechkin is chasing Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals scored all time. As of yesterday, he is just 3 goals away with 892 career goals to Gretzky's 894. The Capitals face off with bottom-ranked Chicago today at 4 p.m., so tune in to see if Ovechkin can make history and break the all-time record. If not today, Washington plays New York on Sunday morning, then Carolina next Thursday, so I expect by this time next week, the record will be his. To close the show, the MLB is back and in full swing. As with the start of most major sports seasons, there's a major talking point circulating sports news headlines. This time, for the MLB, it's torpedo bats. A New York Yankees minor league hitting coordinator, Aaron Leanhart, started asking New York Yankees hitters what they needed to perform better earlier last season. After speaking with several players, Leanhart concluded players needed to make better contact with the ball. To do that, they needed to redesign their bats. Keep in mind, Leanhart was an MIT-educated physics professor at the University of Michigan for 7 years before joining sports specifically to solve these types of problems. The solution was a simple redistribution of weight from the wood on the bat. Here's an excerpt from ESPN MLB insider Jeff Passan. Quote, "Every bat has a wood budget, a specific amount of weight, usually 31 or 32 ounces, to be distributed over a specific length. How could they invest a disproportionate amount of that budget on the barrel without throwing off the remainder of the implement? The creation of the bowling pin bat, also known as the torpedo bat, optimizes the most important tool in baseball by redistributing weight from the end of the bat toward the area 7 inches below its tip, where major league players typically strike the ball. Doing so takes an apparatus that for generations has looked the same and gives it a funhouse mirror makeover, with the fat part of the bat more toward the handle and the end tapering toward a smaller diameter like a bowling pin." End quote. And safe to say, this experiment is working. The Yankees tied a major league record with 15 home runs over their first 3 games. 9 of those came from 5 players who have opted to use the new style bat. The Yankees aren't the only ones capitalizing on this newfound discovery. In his first game with the torpedo bat, Elly De La Cruz had a single, double, 2 home runs, and a career-high 7 RBIs as the Cincinnati Reds routed the Texas Rangers 14-3 on Monday night. The list doesn't stop there, though. Here's a look at the current list of players using the new bats. I expect this list to grow every day, however. I'm sure this offseason something will change with the rules and what kinds of bats can be used, but for the time being, I'm enjoying all the home runs and the high-scoring games. I guess we'll see what happens as time goes on, and I'll keep you updated. With all of that said, enjoy all of the basketball, baseball, hockey, F1, golf, and more this weekend. Be sure to come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights, including who wins a national title. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.
My name is Angela. I'm 51 years old and I was diagnosed with a heart murmur. Before the surgery, I was struggling to breathe. I was missing out a lot on playing with my son. I decided to go to Hoag from Nevada to have my mitral valve repair because the surgeons there are excellent.
My personal approach to patient care is really taking care of a patient as if they were a member of my family.
After the surgery, I can chase him and run around and play with him as much as he wants.
It's like a miracle. It's like this patient made it through the toughest time in their life, and it's an awesome feeling.
The feeling to see these patients recover, especially when they're critically ill like that, it's just the best feeling in the world.
We wanted this to be one of the top cardiovascular centers in the region, the state, the nation, and to be recognized for that. We've achieved that.
If I had to go back and make the same choice, I would choose Hoag again. They treated me like family. This changed my life, and now I get to be with my son.
Hi, my name is Annette, owner of Window Jazz. We're here in Laguna Woods, replacing old windows with new, energy-efficient, state-of-the-art products. We're here with our installation team, upgrading old windows to make this property feel new and beautiful. New replacement windows and doors will make a major impact on the appearance of this home. They'll increase the property value and save homeowners money by reducing energy costs while providing a comfortable indoor climate. Let Window Jazz do the same for you. Call us today for a free consultation.
And welcome back. We got some great movies to tell you about for Friday and Saturday. Let's get to it with Citizen Kane, the classic from 1941, starring Orson Welles. It's brought to us by RadNet. It's going to be at 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. And it follows the death of publishing tycoon Charles Foster Kane as a reporter scrambles to uncover the meaning of his final utterance, Rosebud. It's really about do we ever really know someone as close as we are to them? He talks to his three closest people in his life, his best friend, his wife, and his business partner, and none of them seem to know, but we get to find out at the end what it's all about. It kind of wraps up nicely. So make sure you see that. It's a classic from 1941, a great, great movie. And then on Saturday, another wonderful movie, Life is Beautiful from 1997. Roberto Benigni stars in this one. It is brought to us by Providence Mission Hospital. It's going to be subtitles both at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. It is a foreign language film, but definitely well worth the watch. When an open-minded Jewish waiter and his son become victims of the Holocaust, he uses a perfect mixture of will, humor, and imagination to protect his son from the dangers around the camp. He really does an amazing movie about innocence and fantasy, and it's a really well done movie. You're going to like that one on Saturday, so make sure you get to see that one as well. All right, let's take a quick check of our weather before we head out. We got a great weekend for you. If you're not in watching our movies, you should be outdoors and enjoying the sunshine and the wonderful sunny skies. We're going to temperature 65 today, and then we bump up to 69 degrees tomorrow. Then on Sunday, 76 degrees. That's going to be your high. And then we got temperatures in the 70s as we head into next week as well. So really beautiful weekend for us. Nice picture postcard kind of weekend for here in Southern California. Folks out in the East and the Midwest, I know they're a little bit jealous of us this time of year. So looking forward to having some nice days. Tomorrow in the program, we have window jazz and ceramic slip casting going to come in. We're going to be talking about those things, some energy efficient window opportunities for you guys if you're looking to replace windows or doors. And if you want to be a slip casting, work with clays and the molds, we're going to talk about that as well. So make sure you join us for that one. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha Na Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village Television. Grease for peace.